This is my 1996 Falcon XR6. Pre-COVID, you could pick one of these up, a mint one, for less than $3,000. And then COVID hit. Wow, did these things skyrocket in value. All the Tickford badged Falcons, they just went up, up, up. Just like the HSV Commodores or the VLs, the VNs. These things, particularly the Tickfords, skyrocketed in price. And because of that, the standard Falcons were probably worth just as much as what these things used to be. You couldn't get an AU or just a standard ED, Falcon for less than $4 or $5,000. People were asking $5+ for an absolute rusty old POS, without rego, without roadworthy. Come on, it went ridiculous, seriously. But when you stop and think about it, why wouldn't they be worth a fortune? I mean, Tickfords were very special. They only came out from the E series and the AUs. They're the only ones that received the custom Tickford treatment. And I don't know, look into it, but Tickford is very well connected with Aston Martin. No surprise that the badge looks very familiar, don't you think? So if you're driving a Tickford, you can tell your friends and family you're basically driving an Aston Martin. Now these beautiful big Australian sedans came out with two engine options. One, the single overhead cam, affectionately known as the SOC. 4 litre, 6-cylinder, big block. The other option being the big 5 litre Windsor V8. Now, the SOC, the 4 litre straight 6, it was a lot more fuel efficient, it was cheaper, so it was naturally the more popular engine. It was also a bit lighter. And due to this, the XR6 was actually just as fast as the XR8. Obviously, a lot of people still like the XR8. They wanted their big V8, they love the sound, fair enough, but if you want to make these things sound good, you certainly can. Have a listen to this. A big cam, nice exhaust, high flowing exhaust, some extractors, and you got yourself a beautiful sounding straight 6. Better sounding than any Jap car I've ever heard. So I think there's a reason why these did skyrocket. I mean, people similar age to me, 80s, 90s kids, even early 2000s, would have had some history with one of these. Even if it's E series or an AU, or even just those taxi rides home. These things hold a special place in everyone's heart. And if you want to pick up a good example for the future, to keep those memories alive, well, you really just have to buy one because, they won't be around forever. Not at a half decent price anyway. Oh, you're still there? Great. I've got a lot more to talk about. Now, although today I'm predominantly talking about the Tickfords, I will also mention all the E series and AUs. So the E series started with the EA Falcon, went to the EB, very similar, and then the ED. They were sort of the box era cars, box era E series, I like to call them. The shape changed quite a bit, especially the bumpers, front and rear mainly. A lot when they got to the EF Falcon, so mine's an EF2, but they came out in 2 series, EF1, EF2. And then late 1996, they went to the EL. So they had an EL Series 1 and EL Series 2. And then after that, that's when the AU came out. And the AU had 3 different series. As far as I'm concerned, the AUs all look fairly similar. They had a bit different grills and things, but overall the AUs were quite similar. When we talk about the E Series utes, well, they weren't E Series, they were called an XH series. So the XH Series 1 and XH Series 2. The standard XH utes all came out with the standard EF front bumper. But in the XR6 and XR8 model, the Series 1 came out with the EF XR type bumper like mine with these sort of headlights. And then the Series 2 came out with the EL type bumper. The XHUs were quite unique. They basically came out with the front end, the steering geometry and everything. It was all taken out of the EL series. But the rear was very old, actually. The rear section was out of the X series Falcons and Utes. And still retain the old the old leaf spring suspension, which is quite interesting. Now the issues these things have. We'll start on the exterior. We would have to say the paint. The paint on these cars look pretty good, but given they were only early in the phase of clear coat on cars, the clear coat isn't always the best. Now, so mine started to peel on pretty much a lot of the plastic parts. So I know there was a little bit of scratch or something there. I tried touching up, but when I left the car outside for a few years when I had another car and I didn't value this as much as I should have, it got some water under there and started lifting the clear. And you can see, particularly on the spoiler, I haven't seen a spoiler that hasn't had some clear lifting. Pretty much all the metal's good on mine. Just the plastic parts seem to be peeling a little bit. I believe mine has a little bit of peeling on the doors, but I believe this door has had a respray before I got it, and I reckon they've just taped that off, and it's just the edge of the clear is just starting to peel a tiny bit. But yeah, same with this. The plastic parts getting a bit rough here. I've polished that back, but in the sun you can see it's all a bit dry and a bit scratched and starting to fail. They came with tinted windows. The tint would have gone blue by now. That's just how it is. And I'm taking mine off because of that reason and because of the bubbling, especially in the rear window. That's just going to happen for a 28-year-old car. Rubbers, particularly around the rear window and the rear quarter molds. I've repainted this one, so this one looks pretty good. I might do a video on that, but if you look at the one, I did repaint it, but it failed because I didn't quite sand it back good enough. And if we go here, you can see it's very rough. I've seen worse. It starts pitting, and you gotta really sand that pitting out, or have some plastic primer filler, and get those bits out. These aren't too bad, but they're dry and they're a little bit cracked. They're in good shape. Mine are in good shape than the average. So I'd got the treatment, so this has been repainted with a special paint. Starting to crack a little bit, so I need to do it all again. But yeah. Same with these go pink. I've repainted mine and cleared them, so they look nice and fresh again, but they go pink. You can get bumper restorer, but the badges as well, they start going pink, but that's just what happens with these kind of age cars. Not too hard to fix. You can just paint them, or you can heat polish them, or I've seen people use heat guns, and you can heat them up and bring the oils to the surface and restore them, and then you put some bumper restorer on there, and you can get them back. Again, cheap little things. You can still buy these on eBay, but yeah, I've painted mine up. But yeah, they obviously fade. Other than that, it's all pretty good. Mine's been pretty well looked after, but yeah, there's some of the issues. These cars are prone to rust in the seals. This one's not too bad, and below the doors, this side's not too bad. Around to the other side, unfortunately, the bottom of my doors are a bit rusty down here. So that's going to need a little bit of treatment. Probably the worst thing is my seal panel. Even on the outside, that's rusting. I don't know if that's all the way through, but that's probably the worst of the exterior. I don't know if I can put you under here. Not sure if this is going to work, but the inside of the seal panel, that's where I've got most of my rust. Now the interior, well, on my car anyway, it's pretty damn good. Haven't had too many issues. They seem to get the plastic bits right on these. I know the EDs and that, the door handles are go a bit tacky and faded, but mine are in good shape. Yes, I've kept mine in good condition. I see a lot of steering wheels just faded and cracked and almost peeling off. I don't know what people do to the steering wheels. Maybe I'm just lucky, but that's what mine's like. Some people's dash is cracked if they've been out in the heat and the sun. Theirs are cracked. Mine's in good condition as well, but yeah, my interior is good, but I know a lot of people do have some problems in the interior. But given what they are, I reckon they did a bloody good job of these interiors. Really, I do. Problem with this, and the most common, because would happen to every single E-Series by now probably, will be probably the old composite head gaskets. They all blow, and that's something that just needs to be replaced. Look, I did it myself. You can change it yourself. There's some good manuals online on how to do it. I followed one and I've done it, and it's 100% now. But yeah, it's a fairly big job. But other than that, these engines are pretty bulletproof, I reckon. Yeah, they got it probably better. They got it right on the AU because they put the multi-layer steel, or MS head gaskets in them, and they have no problems. Seem to have no problems at all. As long as you get your E-Series done properly with an AU type gasket, yeah, and as a positive, it slightly increases the compression ratio, especially if you get the head machined and decked. You'll increase the compression a little bit, and you get a bit more performance, and that's what I've done. Mine's perfect. I don't really have much mechanical know-how, but I followed the guide online, and I took my time to do it. I made sure I did it right, and it's been going for 5.5 years now, and I hasn't missed a beat since. So yeah, it's one thing you're probably going to have to do if it hasn't already been done. The brakes on these, well, yeah, a lot of people diss them. They say they're not the best. They're not big. You know, you might want to upgrade them. Even if you're just upgrading some good pads, what I'm going to do is get some, you know, drilled, slotted type rotors, just for a bit more braking power and a bit less fade. But in general, I reckon they stop a big car, you know, pretty well. You don't want to do repeated. You're not going to do a track day in them, or you know, really smash it around a whiny toge or something, and you be hard on your brakes, because they will start fading. But everyday driving, I have no issues with them. Now, all these E-Series and AU, they came out with 2 different gearbox options. The 4-speed BTR, look, it goes well. I prefer a manual personally. I like manuals, but the 4-speed BTR, bloody good gearbox for what it is, and it'll hold a decent amount of power. Yes, after a while, I'm having a few issues with mine, sort of banging from first to second. There might be an issue, but saying that, I don't think I've ever serviced it. So, you know, it's done 303,000 kilometers, and it's still going pretty strong. The other option was, yeah, the 5-speed T5 gearbox, and that's probably the pick. That's probably what you want. Yeah, given they're not mass, they can't take a lot of power. I think, you know, some people they're a bit hit and miss. Some people get a lot of life out of them. They do drift events and everything in them, and they're fine. Other people reckon if you lean on them too hard I remember second or third, it might be third gear, that they can ping, but then they reckon they're like, you know, glass gearboxes. But, you know, it, like everything, some people get lucky, but all in all, for that era of car, they're a pretty good gearbox. As far as electronics goes, well, yeah, there's a few issues. There's your electric windows. You're probably gonna have to replace the electric window regulators. Look, it's not a hard job. Take the door card off. It might take an hour or so to do it, but you get a new electric window regulator off eBay for like $70 delivered, and you can do it yourself. And I've done both of mine, so hopefully they're good to go for another 10 years or so. But we'll see. The issue is the door lock actuators. Sometimes it goes up and down, up and down. That is an annoying thing. I guess if you're buying one, just check that it locks and unlocks, and make sure that all doors lock and unlock fine. If it doesn't, it's probably not a massive deal. It's probably not it's not a hard job to do. It's just an annoying thing to do. But if they don't work, I guess that's where you can go to the seller and say, well, I'm going to have to do this. Get a bit more money off the price. But yeah. All in all, they're a great Aussie car. I recommend buying one. I don't know, it's up to you, obviously, but I love my EFXR6, and I would not have anything else. I'm even looking for an ED Falcon or ED XR6, another one. I'm going to go again, even an older model. I don't care. I love these Tickfords, especially the Tickfords. They're very special, limited, number of Tickfords. As I said earlier in the video, there's a special history with Tickford, and you want to be a part of it. Go buy one. If you are looking at purchasing one of the XR models, just make sure that the indicators, the front indicators, are intact and in good condition, because they are quite costly to replace. They're very rare. Fortunately, there is a guy who's making new replacement ones, and I think it's around $400 a set or so, if you're still making them. But yeah, they can be quite costly. People asking, hundreds of thousands, thousands of dollars. for a set. So just keep that in mind. Same thing with the front headlights. They're made out of glass, so yeah, if they're cracked, just be mindful of that. Although saying that, I've heard that the E30 BMWs use the same headlights, so you might be lucky. It's probably more the brackets behind. I think some people are remaking them now too, so who knows, in the future they might be a lot easier to replace. But yeah, just a fairly expensive front end, especially the bumpers. You can buy knockoff ones, fiberglass ones for about $600, but you probably want an original one. The EF ones aren't so much, don't cost as much. You might get it a few $100s, but the EL ones, yeah, are quite a bit more expensive. I don't know why they're more sought after. I like the EFs better. But saying that, I did replace mine. I replaced mine with an EL for a little bit, a blue one, and I was going to get it resprayed, but then I decided, nah, I want to stick with the EF. It's what it is. And actually, I'm back to the EF, and I'm on the EF bagwagon. I want to keep my car original, and yeah, I like it like that. But just keep that in mind. Yeah, there's just a few things to look out for if you're looking to buy an E-Series or AU for that matter. Some common issues they all have. So yeah, just go through the car. If you're looking to buy one, make sure there's not too much rust in the seal panels and stuff. And you know, if you think you can fix that stuff, then at least you can point that out to the seller and you know, get them to take a large chunk off the price due to the rust and how much it's going to cost to fix. If you're handy with a welder, then that's great because it won't cost you much, just your time really. But yeah, there you go. As far as cost is concerned, buying one of these used, well, your guess is as good as it's mine at the moment. If you look on car sales, they're still worth 10, 20 plus grand. But if you go on Facebook Marketplace, yeah, you can find some pretty good bargains, I reckon. People seem to be more reasonable on the Facebook Marketplace, but in saying that, maybe the cars that get listed there are, you know, maybe a little bit dodgier and have more issues. So, you know, Gumtree's another one to look at. You know, check all the cars out, take them for a good drive, make sure you're happy with them. But what's a clean example like mine worth? Well, it's hard to say because I personally wouldn't sell mine for, you know, I wouldn't sell it, you know. So maybe if you offer me, you know, 30 grand, I'd think about it, but I probably wouldn't even sell it. But obviously it's not worth that much. But if I wanted to sell it, I don't know. I don't know what I'd put it up for. Maybe start at 10 at the moment. Maybe a bit less. It's hard to know. To peak of COVID, I probably would have started 15, 20 and then work from there. But who knows what it actually would have sold for, if at all. But look, you're just going to have to do your own research. I think they've definitely dropped since COVID, so it's probably a good time to buy now, just like anything. So any Falcon, I've been looking at, you know, like EDs and just standard ones, but the XR seems to still be holding their price. But just a standard ED Falcon or EF, standard EFs you're gonna get pretty cheap, I think. It's probably one of the cheaper E-Series because there was a hell of a lot of just standard, you know, ELs, EFs around. They were you know, taxis really, weren't they? Especially from where I'm from, down near Geelong, Melbourne, they're bloody everywhere, these things. I should say that they used to be everywhere. Yeah, obviously the clean examples that not many around now. You don't see a lot, not like back in the 90s, early 2000s. Obviously. So if I've missed anything, if there's a common issue that I've missed, please put it down in the comment below. If you've had experience with E-Series, AUs, or yourself, let me know what other problems they have, and people watching this video that are looking to buy can read the comments below, and yeah, just you know, work out from there things to look out for when they're looking to buy one. So that'd be great. But at the end of the day, they're a great Australian car, Australian built, pretty easy to work on. If there are any problems, if you are looking to buy a car and you as long as it drives well, steers, brakes, accelerates with no issues, you can easily look for any leaks because the engine bay is so open. You get under it, you'll be able to see any leaks. There's no engine covers and stuff hiding gremlins under there. You'll be able to see pretty much everything that could be possibly wrong. So yeah, if you just go through the car, make sure everything's, you know, in order. If it's not, obviously that you use that against the seller and try and get as much money as you can off, and you know, you'll probably be able to fix most of the stuff yourself. But remember, if you're keen to see more of my car, I've got an Instagram page. It's called EFXR6, just the same. I've had that going since like 2015 or something, I think. So got a lot of pictures on there. I do a fair bit. I used to do a lot on there. Probably do more YouTube stuff now. I think it's more interesting, but check me on there. You can always also message me on there. If you got an E-Series yourself, got a question or anything, you put it in the comments below, or yeah, message me on Instagram. If you're in the area and want to meet up and show me your car, then yeah, feel free to shoot me a message and we'll see if we can work something out.